Okay, here we go. Just a second. Gotta put up the funny picture. Okay, this is Alex Schriffen. A little some fun facts. He plays in a band called French Whore Named Babette. He has a daughter who turned 1 2 days ago. Congratulations. Woo! He's moving into a house today, so why are you here? Okay, Alex, come on up. Share your story.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me back. This is the clicker, yeah? Yeah. Thanks to Miami Ad School for hosting this. I'm actually a huge supporter of Miami Ad School, so it's pretty awesome to be here. Thank you. Where the fuck did you find that? I'm managing partner for a small boutique branding consultancy called LPAD. Been in Canada for 3.5 years, but before that, for 16 years, I lived and worked in Moscow, Russia. So this story is from back in those days. Some of the stuff you're going to see is in Russian. I'll try to explain to you what it is. It's pretty straightforward. I had a shop out there for about 10 years. We started this shop in 2001, and late 2011, we sold our business to Saatchi & Saatchi, and in January, we were integrated into Saatchi, and come April, our office was folded in, and we all kind of moved into Saatchi's office. Sometime after that, I went on to be CEO for Saatchi out there for a little spell. But there was a period of time of acclimatization, of integration into Saatchi and into the Publicis network, and also of just working for someone who I had to report to, which is kind of neat and worrisome. And one of the reasons that they integrated our shop into the Saatchi office was this whole idea of cross-fertilization. We had certain skill sets that they acquired that they didn't have, and they figured that if we were kind of in the same space, we'd be talking to the same clients and find new ways to get more money out of the same clients. So recently, Saatchi, in 2012, just as we moved into that office, had won a pitch for a big client. They're called OK Hypermarket, which is sort of like a Costco. They're like a hypermarket. There were 70 locations at the time in Russia, so it was a big account. And OK Hypermarkets, they were celebrating a 10-year anniversary. So this is kind of a big campaign. There was a big media weight bought, a lot of money spent on television. There was a big out-of-home campaign. There was a certain amount of digital, but certainly not as much as there would have been today. This was late 2012. And there was a big in-store promo. And we figured, well, heck, we had this whole department in the agency that did activations. Why don't we see if we can get that piece of the business as well? Saatchi had won this based on ATL Creative, on the creative of the spots and that whole thing. So we kind of stepped in, did a pitch, got them excited, and it was a pretty straightforward mechanic. It was 10 years, and they just wanted to give away some neat prizes. So they wanted to give away 10 cars. So and that was kind of it. It was pretty straightforward. A lot of TV. And scratch cards for cars. Now, I just want to preface this that the way that you typically do this is you get a little scratch card and you enter in a ballot, and at the end, at some point, somebody wins the big prizes. But the CEO of this of OK wanted to create some drama. He wanted every scratch card to be an actual winner. So he wanted somebody to actually scratch one of these cards and say, "Oh my God, I just won a car." I'll get to that in a second. So this is one of the spots that we did. I mean, it's not amazing creative, nothing that you would win at Cannes, but it was decent. It's in Russian, but kind of makes sense. The prices are so good. Does this work? No. Hold on.
Десять лет радуем отличными предложениями. Чай «Принцесса Нури» 67 рублей. Окей, опережая желание.
Some cute, funny stuff, and then straight to the product. Is this audible? Yeah. Straight to the product shots. This is actually the edited version. Originally, these had an announcement at the end of it that said, you can win one of 10 cars. So this was, and this was some of the, this wasn't the at home, I think this was some of the flyers. It's a little bit too busy. But the slogan was, everybody wins. I'll get to that in a second. Hello? Oh, there we are. Okay. So the slogan was, everybody wins. Now, you got to keep in mind that this is a national program with weight bought on every major channel. Tens of millions of dollars of TV weight was spent over several months to promote this, to pump this up. It wasn't just TV, so it was also out of home. This is done across the whole of Russia. You know, it's a big place, 142 million people. So there's a lot of money spent on weight for this. And as I said, at the end of this whole thing, there was this whole mechanic where somebody could instantly win a car. Now, we had been running a couple of weeks of teasers, and then the actual promo started. The way that it works is every cash register in every location of the OK hypermarkets, at the point of purchase, you were given this scratch card, and you scratch something. And every card was, in fact, a winning card. You would get a discount for something or something in the store. So I think it was day 2 or day 3, we got a phone call that somebody just won like 4 cars, one after another. One after another, and we're like, fuck, what's going on, right? So we're trying to get our heads around this, and we call the guy it was in a different city where we had these lottery tickets printed to find out what's going on. Now, here's what we did. This was left to the last minute, this sort of lottery draw part, and in order to print the sheer quantity of scratch cards that we needed, there was a fee that was placed on top of that by every manufacturer because it was a rush job. So we found somebody who would do it faster and cheaper. Anyway, so after a little bit of sort of finagling and trying to understand what's going on, it turns out that instead of printing 10 instant win scratch cards, they printed 1,000. So somewhere in circulation, there was 1,000 fucking free cars being won, okay? Now, just going back a few steps, yeah. This was a big account win. We put this into our projections for the following year. This actually had the way that it works when you get acquired by an agency is there's something called an earn-out, and the earn-out is based on net revenue over and above a certain target. And this kind of set a lot of my personal earn-out. The quality of business for this. So this was a very awkward phone call with a client, I have to be honest. What ultimately ended up happening is we had to pull all the spots. We had to replace the out-of-home that had these promos. All the scratch cards had to get pulled from all the locations. There was an apology made on a website as best as they could to try and handle this. What ultimately happened is by the next day after that is there was another 8 cars won in another location, just sort of one after another in the same place, and we had to put a stop to it. We ended up, Saatchi ended up covering the cost of 2 of the cars. We lost the account, obviously. We didn't get paid our fees for it, although for some reason at that moment we thought that we were actually going to get paid our fees just because we covered the cost of those 2 cars. You know, I mean, we had it in our projections. Obviously, they didn't care. So a few words about this. This was sort of like, you know, because we love Venn diagrams, right? This was the meeting point between stupid, irresponsible, and liable, right? The weakest point were these scratch cards, and we knew that, and we did flaccidly try to convince the client that this was a bad idea, but we caved. And then when we caved, we tried to save a few bucks. I think we saved $10,000 in printing costs by going to the cheaper and faster printer. Anyway, we lost a lot more than that, obviously, as did I personally. So this is a comprehensive list of everything that we lost, which was all their business. And I guess my takeaway from this is, there's a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. That's stupid. Sweat the small stuff. Because this small stuff can get you into real hot water. And that's my story.
Stay up here. So we're going to do questions after each speaker. So does anybody have any questions for Alex?
Hi.
Really unfortunate that that happened. My question is, did you have broadcasting insurance? And if you didn't, would you consider that now?
Oh, that kind of insurance doesn't exist in Russia? So no. I'm sorry?
Would you get that now?
I mean, if it existed, yeah, it would make total sense to get. There was, the risk of fraud for something like this is so high. Obviously, the risk for incompetence is equally high, but. Hi.
I'm just curious from the time you realized that you fucked up to the time you talked to the client, what was in between that for you?
Really, it was just who's going to have the conversation. I mean, because it was going to be ugly. I don't know. It was just a lot of. You know, again, you don't think that this is as bad as it is until you're past it. You know, it's even throughout this whole conversation, as I said, we always felt that they're going to at least pay us our fees, right? Well, no, you're really fucked up. Like, we got to pull all this content off of TV. We have to re-edit it, put it back. We have to change all this out of home. Everything we promised, the whole goodwill of this campaign has been shot to shit. And we're like, well, we're getting paid, right? Hi.
What happened to the printers?
Well, they never, at first they said that they were going to offset some of the costs of the cars, and they just stopped answering phones eventually. Euphemistically speaking, yes. But no, nothing ever happened. They just kind of disappeared and avoided us. Hi. Sweat the small stuff. No, you know what it did teach me? It's we've done this many times. We knew that, and this you do this all the time with clients. You cave, right? They really want something, and the CEO wants something, and you want to please the client, and you come at this from a client service sort of a thing, right? You got a new client. You're trying to build a relationship rather than do the right thing. It really taught you that not doing the right thing can cost everybody. It's in their interest. Hey.
To follow up on that, oh, sorry, I don't know if you can hear it.
There's one behind you, but that's after. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. So to follow up on that, though, is the takeaway, was there a right way to do this one, or was the right thing to do was just not do this idea?
No, the right way to have done this type of an activation was not to do an instant win. There's just too many things that could go wrong, as they clearly did.
So it wasn't necessarily engaging the lower cost printer that was the issue. It was doing it this way in general.
Yeah. Yes. I think the spirit of this event is to blame yourself, so I do blame us. Yeah.
How did the agency overcome brand reputation after the
Well, I mean, there wasn't a lot of press about this, and there wasn't a lot of in-market conversation. This wasn't a scandal. As I said, we stepped up and we paid where we could for actual out-of-pocket costs. We never worked with them, and we continued to pitch and win business. And we tried to do the right thing. We didn't step into this with the intention of defrauding anybody or derailing this. I think they understood that, but they also realized that we didn't have our suppliers in place as well, and this was done. We should have known better. But this wasn't done out of some malicious intent, and that was understood. And at the end of the day, we are a creative agency that did a very poor job of production and execution, where maybe we just shouldn't have been involved, possibly. But as a creative agency, Saatchi lives on. Hi.
How many cars at the end did the company have to give away?
12. I mean, it stopped the week that it started. Days after it started.
All right.
Thank you.
And I mean, this is the good. I mean, sweat the details for sure. But nowadays, we're moving at twice the speed we ever did before. And shit gets missed all the time. So craft, look, copywriters, you know, look at your copy, read it backwards. I mean, I worked on a lot of newspaper campaigns, and we had some major fuck up national newspaper ads because of copy. And clients just hate that shit. They hate that you don't care about the details. But clients will respect that you. They sometimes push you, but if you hold them, ultimately you won't have the fuck up. All right.